Conditioning is the invisible script that tells us how to behave, what to value, and what's possible for us. Not all conditioning is serving you. Now, some of it empowers you, but a lot of it may be limiting you. The data shows that little girls are conditioned differently than little boys. Both forms of conditioning have consequences. Men are often disconnected from their emotions, and women often feel disconnected from their power. But the good news is, my friends, is you can unlearn all of this. The truth is, your future self is waiting for you. When we look at the back end of all the channels we're on, specifically YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, the vast majority of those that watch and listen to the podcast aren't even subscribed. It would mean the world to me, my friends, if you could take a moment right now and hit the subscribe button wherever you consume this podcast. That allows us to reach more people. The podcast grows and in turn allows us to bring bigger and bigger guests on the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Well, welcome back to another solo episode of Keep Rising with Kristy Kuhl. I've been doing a lot of writing and reflecting lately, and this topic of conditioning is something that I have explored on a very deep level. From the moment we're born, we are shaped by our environment, and I know that you know this to be true. I just don't know if you are aware of how much conditioning you've been exposed to and how much of that you still may be using as your internal compass right now. We're influenced by our families, our schools, our culture, our media, and our experiences. Conditioning is the invisible script that tells us how to behave, what to value, and what's possible for us. Not all conditioning is serving you. Now, some of it empowers you, but a lot of it may be limiting you. It could be dictating what you believe about success, relationships, your worth, and even your potential. And unless you take the time to examine it, you might be living by rules that aren't even yours. You might be seeing your entire world through the wrong lens. Now, when I think of that, I think of this moment that I had in Florida a few months ago. I was in a relationship and he had just purchased this big boat and we planned on spending a lot of time on it. Both of us had lost more pairs of sunglasses than we could even remember at that point. And we needed to go to the store and buy some sunglasses that we wouldn't be heartbroken over if we ended up breaking them or leaving them in the water accidentally. We settled on this brand called Goodr, Goodr, and they are incredible. They look good, they feel good on your head, and I think they were like $25-$30 a pair. Now, my partner at the time, he kept making like this really big deal about the way that his lenses made the world look. And mine, I wasn't having that same experience. So I asked him to trade for a moment. When I tried them on, I couldn't believe the difference of what he was seeing through his glasses versus what I could see through my glasses. Everything was brighter and it had a pink hue to it, to the point where every single time we'd get on the boat and he'd put them on, he would just be in awe for a few minutes and he would look around and he would smile and he would look again and he would verbalize and he'd make these noises of excitement. And I was like, oh my gosh, like these things are pretty amazing. So when I was thinking about conditioning, that popped into my head, because what if everything that you saw every day could be just as bright as what he could see through those glasses? But for some reason, our conditioning made us think that the very things that some people think are bright and shiny and beautiful and exciting, we were conditioned to think that they were dark and wrong and bad or led to some bad thing. The data shows that little girls are conditioned differently than little boys. Boys are often encouraged to be bold, to take risks, and to be independent. They're taught to be strong, competitive, and assertive. When they make mistakes, more than likely they're told to just shake it off and try again. Boys are given more freedom to explore, to take up space, to express their desires without as much social pressure to conform to external expectations. As a result, many men grow up with a stronger sense of entitlement to opportunities, greater confidence in their ideas and decisions, less hesitation in taking risks, and a belief that failure is simply a stepping stone. It's not a personal flaw. While this can serve them well in leadership, business, and personal growth, it can also lead to emotional suppression, difficulty with vulnerability, and an overemphasis on achievement as a measure of their own self-worth. Now, girls, on the other hand, are conditioned to be good. They're conditioned to be pleasing and perfect. They are praised for being quiet, agreeable, and responsible. Many little girls are taught to prioritize making others feel comfortable, to avoid conflict, and to constantly seek external validation. They're more often corrected, told to be careful, or made to feel like mistakes are personal failures rather than learning through experiences. What does this lead to for girls? Well, as adults, many women then struggle with overthinking every decision, seeking permission before they take action, feeling guilty for setting boundaries, playing small because they fear that they might be too much, and struggling to take up space and actually fully step in and own their power. Do you feel like there's another level to reach, but you haven't been able to unlock the combination? Do you feel like on paper you've reached success, but something still feels off inside of you? Do you find yourself dreaming about a different life, but you're unsure how to back out of the one that you have currently and move gracefully in the direction your soul is calling you to move in the next season of your life? If you answered yes to any of these questions, my friends, my 12-week proprietary Unleash program just may be for you. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to www.unleashwithkristy.com, and you can even book a discovery call there. Keep rising, my friends. You're so much closer than you think. Both forms of conditioning have consequences. Men are often disconnected from their emotions, and women often feel disconnected from their power. But the good news is, my friends, is you can unlearn all of this. The first step, as you would guess, is awareness. You can't change what you don't see. So let's start uncovering your conditioning with a few simple questions. What beliefs do you hold about yourself that feel more like obligations than they do truths? Do you believe that you must be liked by everyone, that it's selfish to put yourself first, that success has to be hard? Where did these beliefs come from? And if you have to pause this, I would really actually encourage you to pause this and take some time to reflect on these questions. Question number 2, what parts of yourself feel restricted? Are there things you desire but hesitate to pursue? Do you silence yourself in certain situations? Do you hold back from speaking up, going after opportunities, or making bold choices? Question number 3, where do you feel resistance? Notice when you second guess yourself. Are you hesitating because you genuinely need more information, or because you've been conditioned to doubt yourself? Are you saying no to something because it's truly not for you, or because someone somewhere told you that that is not what you should do? Question number 4, what would you do if you weren't afraid of judgment? If no one was watching, if there were no consequences, what would you pursue? What would you say? And how would you show up differently? Question number 5, whose expectations are you living by? Are you making choices based on what you want, or based on what you think will make others happy and comfortable? Your answers to these questions will start revealing what's truly yours versus what has been placed on you. And once you see it, you can start choosing differently. So now that you've started to uncover your conditioning, what's next? Well, here are 3 simple ways for you to start to reclaim your power. 1, rewrite your narrative. Challenge beliefs that don't serve you. If you've been conditioned to think you must always say yes, practice saying no. If you were taught to wait for permission, start giving yourself the green light. Number 2, take a small, rebellious action. Do one thing today that goes against your conditioning. Speak up in a meeting, wear something bold, take a risk, or set a boundary. Every tiny action can start rewiring your brain. And number 3, surround yourself with people who empower you. If you've been conditioned to play small, being around people who are bold, unapologetic, and ambition will help you shift your mindset faster. Seek out mentors, communities, and friendships that support the real you. The truth is, your future self is waiting for you, not to become someone new, but to take inventory and unlearn some of the things that have been keeping you from being who you already are at your core. So here's my challenge for you today. Choose one belief, one habit, or one expectation that you're ready to let go of. Write it down and then take one action to break free from it. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this work, apply for my Unleashed program at www.unleashedwithkristy.com. This is where we unlearn, realign, and fully step into our power. Your future self is already free. Are you ready to meet them?